Today, I am a non. We all are. Anonymous individuals in a world globe spinning around every 24 hours, living amongst billions of human beings. Some say there are too many human beings. You hear people like Jane Goodall and all lot of famous people rolling in money, all saying, oh, there's too many people. Maybe they're just tired of getting through crowds at airports because there's too many people for them. The question is, if there's too many people, what are they saying? That they are surplus? They're the ones that are too many? Because each individual is an individual to themselves, as important to themselves as any other individual in the world. And this is the equality quota. Each individual is important to itself genetically as every other individual on the whole planet, no matter what their station is. It's only the authoritative power, or money, or political power, or powers of coercion, or bigger and tougher than you, which gives people domination over another. And that's what it is. It's very hard to eliminate that factor of human nature. But when it comes to talking about the idea that the New World Order, whatever that is, and I don't buy naturally into all of that because it's too much involved in the idea of that. It's a sort of James Bond thing. Nonetheless, there is talk about reducing the world population, and people live in fear of that. But it's not going to be done by blowing up thousands of people in nuclear wars and stuff like that, or chemtrails and things like that, because if chemtrails are a problem then affecting the air, well, you can't avoid breathing the air. The people who will be killing everyone off will be dying themselves and having genetic problems themselves. No, it is down to you. Whoever you are, it will be up to you. And how you bring your family up, the morality you have in your family, how educated it is, if it lives on the right side of the moral principles of life, is not greedy and selfish, has some obligations towards itself, and therefore assists society, doesn't rob, steal and all that, then you will carry on living for your family, and your genes, sticking with this principle, will just carry on as normal. But there's something that you should avoid as much as possible, things that poison your body, such as these things. Mobile phones, and this is a bigger version of that. I'm not even familiar with the names of these things because I don't use them myself. I have a mobile phone I use occasionally, and this is an iPhone, I think it's called. The thing is, these things are going to devastate the human population, and it's by personal choice. See, survival of the fittest, which many people can't accept still in America, is the fundamental law of nature that rules all things. And it means that it doesn't mean people bump people off because they're fitter than each other. It means simply, if you have knowledge that benefits you and yours, you use it for your benefit till you carry on your generation, and your genes carry on into the next generation, then that knowledge accumulates and your generation or your genes benefit over the generations into the future. If you tell people recessive and regressive and negative things like Al Gore is, and these disgusting people are telling kids that it's going to be the end of the world soon because we're using coal and stuff like that, it's absolutely utter nonsense. CO2 is not a deadly poison, it's not making the world dirty, it's hardly anything to do with climate change. That's to do with because the Earth is a lunar solar gravitational pump. The way the human population will die out is because of these. Because of the microwave radiation and the screens and all the computers and the saturation of the air of those. Now, if you have one of these at your head and you've had it for a long time since you were a child, chances are at some stage you may get a brain tumour. Now, we know that many people are already getting, young people are getting retina problems because of constantly looking at screens. So they will be blind by the time they're 40 or 50, and they're bringing euthanasia laws in Australia, which will start to deal with that sort of surplus of older people problem, which they seem to be complaining about, as if you can help getting old or something. But these things are going to accelerate the death rate in the future simply by people using them too often or putting them near their head too long, and that's what occupying their life with, a very empty sort of a life anyway, tweeting and listening, and that's all they're doing. But the more you have that next to your head, the more chance you have of getting a brain tumour and not living a very long life at all. So the reduction in population will occur by basically ignorance about what enables you survive, or more importantly, your genetic capital to survive. What we have inside of us is a package of genetic capital with a soul. The soul is intrinsic to that, but I'm not going to explain the soul here and now, but the soul is enacted within the DNA. The part of the DNA that you can see under a microscope. Well, the field around that, the interactive field around that, interacts with the rest of the cosmos, if you like. That is the soul of the being, if you like. Now, whether that carries on in a good, if you like, or fulfills its soul journey or not, will depend on the electrical interference within that field, and how that affects the DNA, and how that affects cellular division one way or another. So if you add fluoride to the water as well, which slows down the cellular division, it can actually, it's a retardation to the electrical systems of the body, it slows them down, and therefore people can't quite catch on to what things are happening. But it's all because that's why they use it, to keep the people slightly retarded. That's why there's been a con, so many people, oh, the world's going to end if we stop using coal. But the important factor of this mixing things like fluoride, it will also retard, if you like, electrical function in the body, and therefore that's why there's a growth in children that are not born perfect. And also with all the microwaves around, that will also affect into the future how long people will live and whether they pass on their genes or not. And with the encouragement, well, more people give away making babies because they choose to have sex with the same people, same sex as them, that also eliminates a lot of other people passing on their genetics or their genes. And so then these natural causes, but that's basically how the poor population will reduce naturally in a way, because nature takes its course regardless there's human input into that, because the people who are rich and powerful, they think they're genetically superior because they're financially superior, and actually they're quite very, very brilliantly clever people, and phenomenally so, and you have to respect them for that. I don't take anything away from anyone being brilliant, clever, ultra powerful, because it's the history of their nature what has brought them to that point. But whether your genes, their genetic capital has progressed because they've lived by a principle for so long, their genetic capital has then compounded, if you like, into becoming a financial capital as well. That's how it works. Your lineage does sustain not just your genetic capital, but also it can sustain your financial capital. Basically, that is the holy grail, if you like. That is the secret of life, if you like. That is the key to the Da Vinci Code, if you want. That is the actual key. But there you are, in a small little video, because I'm not going to go on it for enough, because there's enough there and people can do their own research. That is the most important thing here. Far too many people these days on the left, in what we call the left in particular, do not do their own research. They're too lazy. They just want to react angrily at someone by being prompted. These people are victims themselves, and they're the ones, because they've already proven to be weak, because they're not individual, they've joined a collective, and therefore they're not being treated equally, they're being bossed around by an elite. So this equality thing is knocked in the head by that argument, that premise for a start. But these people are actually victims. The ones that don't question the elite are actually victims, and they don't realise it. And they are genetically weak, and they'll be bred out. Those who stay strong individually, have strong moral principles, and bring the children up with a proper upbringing, loving mother and father, their genes, and they pass that on as a family pattern or identity or family trait, if you like, or family philosophy. Those will live on, regardless of AI or anything. Those humans will live on, and of course the ones in the far black blocks of the Amazon who may escape it and carry on living naked in the forest forever. They, in the end, the meek shall inherit the earth. Bye. I am Anon.